Welcome to our tutorial on box sizing in CSS. Understanding how the box sizing property works is important for controlling element dimensions and layout. Today, we'll compare two key values, content box and border box. I will demonstrate their impact on element sizing and layout. By the end of this video, you'll see why box sizing border box is often the preferred choice for web developers. With content box, the width of each element is calculated without including paddings, borders, or margin. This is the default behavior, but we can change this one. This type of box sizing can lead to unexpected results, especially when adding borders or padding, as this will expand the element's overall width beyond what you may intend. The other alternative is to use the border box value. With box sizing border box, the width and height properties of the content, padding and border is built into one. This means that the specified width and height, total width and height, this will comprise your layout calculation that is more predictable in simplifying the process of adding padding and borders. In details, so why box sizing border box is much better than the default behavior of content box. First, we have predictable sizing. The total width and height of an element include padding and border, making it easier to calculate and manage layout dimension. Second advantage is consistent layouts. Elements maintain consistent sizes. It prevents layout shift and overflow issues when borders and padding are added. Number three advantage of border box, simplified responsive design. With the model, creating responsive design becomes more easier as the dimensions remain consistent across different screen sizes and resolution. You do this by setting box sizing border box globally using a CSS reset. You can ensure a more reliable and maintainable code base. Let us see the code in action. So we have here a basic HTML of H3 with a division of class section. We have two unordered lists with a content box and a border box class. I will explain the clear. For this one, we will use floated layout. Again, it's not recommended anymore to use a floated layout. Let's start designing. So for the body, I will use a margin of 30 pixels. And for the LI, so we will have, for example, of a list style. So we'll disable the numbering of a list style of none and text alignment of center. Then we will use float to the left. So we will float it to the left. So I will explain again what is a floated layout. But for now, let's continue setting the CSS configuration for the H1 and H3 and padding of top, right, bottom, and left. So for the our content box right here, which is OL, and for our border box, let's say we have a width of 450 pixels, a background of yellow. For the individual box, such as this one, let's set a width of 150 pixels, a height of 150 pixels, color of white, font size of 16 pixels, and a line height of 8. So that will be our settings. For the box 1, box 2, and box 3, so let's create a background color, specifically of blue. So that's our background color of blue. Okay. So as you can see, we have a floated layout. So I will explain further what is a floated layout. If you inspect our element in the DevTools, so you can see 450 by 0. It means that floated layout are not recognized by the parent element. So we will need to use the clear hack for styling in order for the parent element to recognize its child element that has been floated. So remember, our Li has been floated left. So we are not seeing the background of yellow because, again, as you can see our content, we have the 450 pixel width, but we are missing the height, which is the height of the child, are 150 pixels. So in order to do that, again, this is not recommended anymore. So I will teach you a better way using Flexbox. So we will use the class clear and a pseudo element of before. Again, a class clear and a pseudo element of after. So there will be no content. The display is black, and we will clear the floating. Can say the clear float. So we have a yellow background here. So as you can see, we are not seeing it yet. But if I modify this one, 460 pixels, so I'm expecting a yellow background. Let me see why it's not working. So we have the class of clear, before and after content, which is oh, we have an here, that's not a clear float, but instead this will be clear both. So as you can see, we have the background color of 450. Before, this has a 150. Our measurement fit because we have a content box and a border box of 450 pixels. So 150 pixels times 3 is equivalent to 440. Again, if we expand this one, we have a background of yellow at the background. But for the demonstration of content box and border box, I will make it 450. So the default behavior, if you're using HTML, is the content box. So it's hard to lay out. For example, if I included a border for each box. For example, I include a border of 1 pix solid black. So the layout both will break because the total width of 450 will be added by 1 pixels from each of the boxes. So for example, the total width here for the yellow is 450. Then we have 150 for each boxes. So, so the model of content box will add additional 1 pixels for each because we included a specific border. So that will be a 6 addition to the width. So for example, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I think it will be 456. It will not fit anymore the 450 parent containment. So the border box will be an improvement to that. So for example, we have a content box here specifically. So if we add a width, for example, of 456 pixels, we modified it so it will fit now because of the specific border. But as again I said, the border box will be the better option. So why? So for example, I have here the box sizing. So I will change the behavior for each LI. So the border box and the box. So I will say the box sizing will be the mode of border box. So what will be the difference here? For example, so I commented this one. So again, we have a 450 pixel length of the yellow containment. So if you see the each content box, we have 40, but each boxes has a 1 pixel border. So that makes it 152 for each. So 152 plus 152 plus 152. So the total width will be included in the border, while the box sizing, for example, if we use the box sizing here of the border box, so it becomes 148. Remember, we set that each boxes has a specific width of 150 pixels, but because of the border box, so the total content will be 148 plus 1, 149, and the one and another one which is 150. So it's very easy to design and compensate for the additional padding but not margin. So for example, I have a border box and I increase the border, for example, of each element. So it will not matter because our width is from the content up to the border. So still, we have 140 plus 5, which is 145, and another 5, which is 150. It doesn't matter if you have a thick border, the layout will not break, but the content area will compensate for it. For example, I had a border box of 5 pixels so about padding. So I add specific padding. So still, it remains the same. We have a fixed width of 450 pixels, but unlike the content box, for example, if I increase this one, for example, to 160, so I want you to look at the content box. So this will break already when using content box. The only way that you can compensate for this one is to increase the parent width. So I hope you notice the difference. When using box sizing border box, I don't need to worry about the parent's container's width. I will only worry about the size of this. So border is included in the actual width and padding is included in the actual width. The only one that is not included will be the margin. For example, each blue boxes has a margin right. So again, by definition, so margins are not included in the width of the specific element. So for me, box sizing border box is much easier to work around than we are using the content box, which is the default behavior. For example, I'll change this again to content box. So this is the normal behavior. So it will not fit anymore the yellow containment because we have additional border and padding. But if you use border box, for me, it's easier to lay out. If I remove the margin, for example, so that will be the default behavior and the alternative behavior for back sizing. So understanding using back sizing property and effectively can enhance your control over element dimension and layout. While content box is the default behavior, I encourage you to switch to border box as it provides predictable sizing, consistent layout, and it simplifies responsive design. Consider box sizing border box in your next project. Thank you for joining this tutorial on box sizing in CSS. Experiment with these techniques on your own projects to see the benefits firsthand. Thank you very much again. See you in the next lecture.